would you all agree with me when I say, or what's your thoughts on this? Are we defined by the culture we grow up in?
Are we defined by the culture we grow up in?
Are we defined by the culture? I didn't say race. I said culture. So how we were raised. I grew up in the Church of God in Christ culture. I grew up in the Pentecostal culture. I grew up in the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tongues.
I was around that.
Yes. And so, for me, how I perceive things, even my grammar, how I talk, comes from the culture that I grew up in. I add S's to a lot of words. That is probably not the most proper thing, but it was the culture that I grew up in. So would you all say that we are defined by that?
I'm going to jump in here.
Yeah.
I think defined is too strong of a word. I think we are shaped by the culture we grow up in.
So wait.
Influenced.
Influence. Okay, so what's your definition of defined then right now?
What is your definition?
Defined feels like there is nothing I can do about that. There's a victim mentality built into the word defined, in a way a lot of people use it.
Okay.
And I just think shaped is a better word. And because you can change that. You can tweak things there. But I do think you can't get away from the fact that we are shaped by the culture that we grew up in. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. I love it.
For better or worse. And I think if you feel like this hurt me, the culture I grew up in hurt me, well, there may be more obstacles for you to overcome.
Yeah.
And if you had a great culture and everything's great, then you were living a great life, and that shaped you as well. But I think it's hard to say defined because things can change over time. And you know that from your past to where you are now.
Yeah.
If you just decided my past and my culture defined me, you might be in a different place right now.
That's good. So you were saying shaped you.
Yeah, I agree with George. I would say defined is too strong of a word.
Okay.
And I wouldn't use that for myself. I would say that I'm more influenced by the culture that I was raised in.
I like that.
So I grew up hard circumstances, South Central Los Angeles.
Okay.
LA.
Let's
Gang
go.
violence all around. But I'm not in a gang, nor have I ever been in a gang. But if I was defined by that culture, that would mean that I look at my path and I'm like, okay, well, I've got to be in a gang in order to fit in with the culture that I'm a part of. But I think in the same way that you can be influenced by one culture, you can move to another place and be influenced by another culture.
So let's sit on that word right there, influence. From the culture that you two grew up in, from the money perspective, what was the influence there? Was it, get the credit score, get the money, or was it stack bread? I'm curious because you and your wife right now are on a mission to pay off y'all's house. What was the influence there? Did you have, because I didn't have positive influence when it came to my culture growing up. It was, just graduate, get the student loans, get a good credit score, and just keep your bills below 30% if you borrow. So if you got a credit card, keep it below 30%. If you, got the credit card, do that. If you get a student loan or if you get a car payment, pay it off on time. But no one really taught me how to invest, how to start a business, what is a savings. So I'm curious, from your upbringing, what was the influence there?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I would say my influence is very similar to yours, of just not having a lot of money knowledge growing up. Like my mom never sat me down and said, this is what it looks like to budget, or this is what it looks like to plan for the future. Like a lot of the things that we did were just kind of spur of the moment. And my mom did an amazing job of raising us. Like it was me and 5 other siblings and a single mom. So she did an amazing job. The fact that I'm here, she did a phenomenal job of raising me. Not knocking my mom at all.
Yeah.
But I think because she didn't have that knowledge and understanding, she couldn't pass it on to me. But I think once I grew up and started getting other influences, like started meeting other people, started getting mentors, meeting people that could pour into me the knowledge that they had, that opened up my mind a lot to where I was like, oh, okay, I never learned these things. Yeah, it's a little bit harder for me to get them now, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn them now. And now I'm working here, Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Sitting with Anthony, sitting with Camel Lights right now.
Sitting at the table, brother. That's what I'm talking about.